Welcome to the question of the day. Today's question is from Julio in Louisiana, and he asks, how do you sell to landlord situations where they are not there for the visit? Great question. You don't. I do have some strategies, but before we get there, I would stress these would not be my customers. This is not where I would focus my business. As a business, you need to make a decision as to who is your customer, what is your niche, and focus on those customers. Now, by deciding, you're also eliminating who's not your customers. So when I decide this is my customer, that's where I'm going to focus. You're making a decision of who is not my customer. It's like when you get married. I decide to get married. I decide to spend my life with this person. You're deciding the rest of these people are not the people I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And so as a business, you're deciding who are my customers, focus on them, and you're saying no to the rest of the customers. This is a group of customers that I would say no to. I would not focus my efforts here. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Steve Jobs was asked one time with Apple, what Apple product was he most proud of? And his answer was he was most proud of what he had actually said no to. Because he said no to so many other ideas and so many other products, it allowed him to focus on the products that became the Apple that you know today, the iPod, the iPhone, etc. And so that's what we're doing. We're saying no to focus on the customers that are going to maximize our business. Because think about it, a landlord, this is a business investment to them. They are not emotionally tied up to this in any way. It is simply numbers. They're focused solely on the numbers. And you as a business, you're priced correctly. That means you're priced profitably. That means you're not the cheapest. And so if they're focused solely on numbers and they're not even there, you're going to be a number on a piece of paper next to other companies on a piece of paper, and your number is going to be higher. And there's no reason I'm going to think your number is better. There's no value. There's no emotional connection there. So you wasted your time bidding. A landlord's also going to get multiple bids because this is a business venture. They are going to be collecting as many bids as fast as possible so that they can pick the cheapest one, because the cheapest one makes sense to their business here, right? And that's, again, not you. So you're going to immediately, before you're walking in the door, be getting the shopping around objection. Hey, we just want to get the number and we're going to be shopping around with other companies. So I'm not making a decision today. Now, a landlord also wants to be hands off. And so they're not there, they're not involved. And so they may even have somebody else taking care of this for them, some type of agent or rental agency, and they are going to be going solely on the numbers, or their job is going to be to collect the quotes, then give them to the landlord, and the landlord is going to pick the cheapest one, right? And so again, this is all a waste of time. The landlord also does not live there, so they are not concerned about things like experience or comfort. I hope they're concerned about safety, but I don't know if I'll lump safety in there. But safety could also come off as a scare tactic, right? When you're reaching out and you're bringing safety concerns, it may sound like you're just trying to sell something, right? Like you're trying to scare them into buying with you. And so I don't know that that would work really well either. So I wouldn't, but if you do run these calls, here are some strategies. So first thing is I need to get them involved. Whatever that looks like, I need to get them as involved as possible. So before I go out to the property, I'm calling the landlord and going over an agenda with them. Now, they may not answer the phone because they're not there and they're not concerned. So I do have a tactic when I really need to get somebody on the phone, and this would qualify as one of those scenarios, like I need to get that landlord on the phone, otherwise I'm just wasting my time. I have a strategy where I will call twice, right? So I will call, it'll ring, ring, ring. It'll probably go to voicemail because most people don't answer if they don't recognize the number. And as soon as it goes to voicemail, I hang up and then I dial right away again. And that way, what happens is they see the call, they see it went to voicemail, and then they see the call come through again. Now, most people will look at that and go, "Ooh, what's that? It must be important. I should probably answer." And this is important. This is about their business, right? And so most people will answer on the second call. And once I have them on the phone, that's where I'm setting my agenda, right? So, like in a normal process, I would get to the home and I would set a visual agenda with the customer, right? And now I'm going to set it with them. I can't do it visually, and so I have to be very engaging, very descriptive in what I'm doing and laying out that plan. But I have to set an agenda with them because they are the end user. They are the ones I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to a rental agency. I don't want to talk to a representative. I don't want to talk to the tenant. I need to talk to them. As a salesperson, I need to be talking to the end user. So they are the ones I'm setting the agenda with. And part of that agenda is that I need them along for this. And this probably looks more like FaceTime. Hey, as I go into this call, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to need you for these parts, so I'm going to need you available for a FaceTime call so that we can see each other and you can see what I'm looking at. Because as you're looking at their situation, you should FaceTime so they can see what you're seeing, right? Because when you see mold, dust, rust, moisture, whatever, like they can see that kind of stuff, right? If I have questions for them, they can see that. If I'm going over options with them, they can see the options and we're discussing the options in real time. I can dig in and ask for objections, right? We can overcome objections. Like I need all that to happen over FaceTime. So I need them available. And if they're not available at that time, let's reschedule the call. I'm going to reschedule for a time they are available that we can have them involved on FaceTime. Now, something else I'm going to ask them when I'm setting the agenda is, hey, there's going to be a tenant there, right? Is there anything you want me to discuss with a tenant or don't want me to discuss with the tenant, right? Usually they don't want you to discuss much with the tenant, but sometimes they're okay with it. Sometimes they have a close relationship with that tenant. And if they do, I can try to maximize the comfort and experience because they maybe do have a bit of an emotional investment if they know the tenant really well, but most won't. So, but ask what can I or can I not discuss with the tenant. Now, there's some other questions I would definitely ask here. One of the questions I would ask in my explore phase would be who pays the utilities? Is the landlord paying the utilities or is the tenant responsible for the utilities? Because if the landlord is paying the utilities, I'm probably going to focus a lot of efforts on efficiency and tie that into long-term savings. Because remember, this is a business venture for them. So they're looking at their long-term costs. And when I can show long-term savings, utilities, and efficiency, that's a great way to do it. So if the landlord's paying the utilities, I definitely want to focus on efficiency. I also want to ask, how long do they plan on being a landlord? How long do they plan on owning this property? Because this is going to allow you to focus on warranties, right? So again, business venture, I don't like unforeseen costs if I'm a business owner. And so if I have warranties, because I'm going to be doing this for many years yet, and the warranties will coincide with that, so I don't have to pay for any repairs, I don't have to pay for maintenances or whatever that is, right? That all caps my cost. I know that I have this many dollars invested over the next X amount of years. So ask them how long they plan on owning this property and how long they plan on being a landlord, because that will allow me to focus on warranties and tie that into their business plan. So these are a few strategies that if I had to run a landlord call here, I would do these things, but I would still not build my business on these customers. This is like combating a burning building armed only with a thermostat. I can keep turning that temp lower and lower and lower, but in the end, I'm still going to be toast. So that's today's question of the day. If you're enjoying question of the day, follow, share, and give a rating. Question of the day is on major streaming platforms. If not, well, keep it to yourself. If you have a question, reach out to me either on social media or email. Both are going to be listed below in the show description. Let's get your questions answered. And if you're a Nexstar member, schedule a call with me. Let's dive into your situation, your questions, one on one. I'm Coach Chris. We'll see you tomorrow.